Hi everyone, I'm doing a December daily 2017, as you can see. Put gold stickers there, flip through, completed album, and I got my album done on the first, no it wasn't the first, it was the 2nd of January I had it done. This is the quickest I've ever done it. I think because partially I was doing it on YouTube, so I was flicking through and showing everyone bits and pieces as I went. So I was keeping myself motivated to keep up with it. But also because I had my Canon selfie, which I got as a Christmas present last year. I think I got it as a Christmas present last year, but it could have been 2015. Either way, I had that, so I was printing all my photos as I went every night. And if I didn't print them every night, it was every second night. Either way. So here is my album. I have got my Christmas word phrase that I hand cut out because I don't have a silhouette or cameo, but if you did, super simple. I have a red card, envelope card, an envelope from a card, sorry, tongue tied there, and I have some extra, camera's more here, extra photos that didn't quite fit in with one of the stories I was telling on the day, so I added it there. Tag with my reason why, and I've put embracing there. And then my December daily card I got from Ali Edwards. This is a felt pocket with the peace and joy from the 2016 kit. Title page sort of in review. So these are last year's photos in that, and also a bit of recycling from packaging, which I also like to try and love doing. I've used a snap 3x4 flip pocket there, and I have used those throughout the album. I bought a packet in November and I've been using them for December daily. So it's day one is our Christmas lights setting up, but also Elf on the Shelf. Day one was kind of a half and half. I really wanted to tell both stories, so I did. I'm not too fussed with just keeping it very simple. I want to add all the very important stories for that year, because sometimes there is more than one story on each day, and I'm okay to sort of put them in and work it out, make it work. So I do have 2 more photos to put here for Elf on the Shelf, but we kind of did die with the enthusiasm. We weren't as enthused to take photos, but on the first day, our elf, which we later called her Juno, she got named this year because it's the first year that we've ever had her, which is what I'm journaling about. And she arrived on one of the boys' dinosaurs, and she came with our advent calendars, our Chucky advent calendars. That was the story there. Day 2 was a dinner, well, lunch, that we had with all our friends before Christmas actually hits and we don't see anyone for a couple of months, with Christmas and New Year. So I've got celebrating the season with family and friends there. I forgot to take photos. The only thing I took a photo of was my table. My friend Beck took a photo of her little son there in front of the tree. So I asked her if she could send me that picture. My hubby went with the boys for a walk this day, bushwalk, and I always get him to send me photos during the day because I was at work this day. So I put those in, and I didn't mind that it absolutely did not have anything to do with me in it. And I've cut down to keep it interesting with all the flip pages. I've cut down one of the 6x8s there. This is a gift card holder from where I'm working, and I've only just started here at Rockman's for about 6 to 8 weeks in the lead up to this. So I didn't know that we got a Christmas card given to our shop to say thank you from the boss, the new CEO, which I thought was nice, so I popped it in there. And then a page with Flynn looking at his binoculars, and this was his obsession for most of December, was Dad's binoculars, Santa photos. And then we have Christmas decorating. I've put a shaker pocket. I use my fuse tool. I have 3x8 pocket page sleeves left over from A Week in the Life, which I also do, and so I fused off the silk gold sequins, but I put the red enamel stars in there. And I've got decorating here in the Avery tab. The Nutcracker was new to our house. I usually get 1 new ornament each year, so then old ornaments, my wreath, and I used Ali's idea to cut down the photo itself. Don't have anything on the background as yet. I'm not fussed. Another pocket sleeve there. And the pine cones were new too. Gingerbread house. So I've printed my photos, which is another good idea if you've got lots at all different sizes. So you can add different backgrounds. And this one's a 6x4 card that I wasn't too fussed on, so I cut it in half and then printed my photos of the border, and then I just chopped the border off. So then each boy was cutting out gingerbread shapes. So there's my gingerbread house and then journaling about it. I took the boys for a bushwalk this day when hubby was at work. And we saw a selfie of us and then walking about where we actually went. And I did take the elf on the shelf that day and she got a photo. Because my boys are little, we're not doing the elf on the shelf to actually teach a lesson until in future years, more or less. For now, it's a fun little thing to do. That's extra. I cut down a 2x2 inch pocket sleeve just to get 6 little ones, and I've used one of the chipboard pieces there and back to back on in the middle there, and that's to break it up as well because it's so photo heavy in this page this day as well as just this page, so that way it sort of breaks it up. The Thomas and Friends tag, because they had Thomas Christmas shirts and they really love Thomas, and at the minute that's their big thing, so I didn't want to miss out on putting this in and then forget that they've been so obsessed this year with Thomas. And a scrapbooking layout that I love to add in. Day 8 was a full page, just one photo. This is a screenshot from Facebook from a group I follow, and it's also very important to me as well. So rather than covering up the journaling, I've put this flip with washi tape there with an 8, but that there does sort of is self-explanatory. I don't need to add journaling up here. I put a quote that says, "It is not in the stars to hold our destiny, but in ourselves," by William Shakespeare. Acetate piece from Studio Calico. Don't know how long I've had that, but I've had it in my stash, and I thought it related to a story, and then broke up the 2 days here as well. I've noticed that's something I've done this year is used pieces to break up stories if both pages aren't one story. If they're 2 different days, I've added something in between. Nanny. The boys were reading with Nanny this day, and Nanny's name is Joy. So we used the Peace and Joy card, and then I've used sort of Joy is, and between the boys, me and Stu, we've wrote what joy is to us. Not only the person, but the feeling, so play on words there. Nan and Pop came to visit us on their Harley motorcycle, and the boys loved it. They loved the sound, they know straight away. So that was day 10. Day 11, we went out to visit my mummy friends. I have a mummies group, and we all catch up every now and then when we can see each other, and around Christmas it becomes a bit harder. We've all got our families and other friends that we're catching up with as well. So this day it only ended up being me and one other lady, Becky, and we've both got 2 boys each. So 3 of the boys are old enough to play around, but one's still in a pram. One's still a bubba. So these 3 boys were playing on the slides, but they also played in a big dirty puddle, and they rubbed the water all over their faces. They had mud and dirt everywhere, so I just had to take photos and have a good giggle and a laugh about that. And all the mums in the park were looking at us and watching us, and half of them were looking at us in shock and disgust that we'd let our kids play in the puddle, and then the other ones were just laughing and going, these kids are happy and they're playing and they're not giving us grief. And we were so happy because we were catching up, we were having a coffee, and we stood there and followed them around the park and just watched them have a ball, and we got to be relaxed as well, which was really handy. This is a vellum piece. I put it in my printer to see if it would work, and I printed off a vintage postcard, and it worked out perfectly. Don't you love it when that happens? I do. Really love it when something just works. So another piece I've used to break up the 2 pages, my wet Christmas party. Self-explanatory, didn't need any journaling on that one. I may later on if I forget people, but I'm sure I won't, so that's fine. Day 13 is about our tree setting up, which I usually do on the 1st or 2nd, but I kept putting it off and off and off. They weren't the stories for that day. Got out my typewriter and typed it onto a normal piece of paper and then glued it on the back of this. Then the other half of one of the sleeves I cut down, I fused with my fuse tool, but do not fear, if you don't have a fuse tool, you can use washi tape, you can use double-sided tape. to do these along here, and because it's where the ring binder is, it would not matter. If you wanted to create another pocket, you can do it. You can even stitch it. I saw a lady stitch along the perforated edge in one of her sleeves. I cannot remember who it was. If I do, I will tag it, but at the moment I can't. And it was brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. So more tree photos. We had a Christmas party for my son. He's in preschool, my eldest son. So the invitation was an A4 piece of paper. Took a photo of it, printed it out with my selfie. I also printed these photos and created a pocket in them. So Flinny on Santa's lap. There's a funny story with that, so I put that in there as well. And then the boys, they're having their crackers after they were in the pool, because it was a pool party. And then this is a 6x4 photo with 2 photos either side. I trimmed it, and then I just sat them top and bottom and have a piece of washi tape behind them to hold them together. With the holiday happiness, you can't even tell that it's not one big photo. This is how I used my diamonds from the kit this year, and I like it. I love it. I did use a few others elsewhere, but this is where the majority of those came in. My acetate piece with Elf. So this is actually a photo from the trailer, and I cut out the Elf letters and stuck that on. So that was already in from my foundation pages. This is what I added to this. So it's a little like tab to change the tape sleeve, sorry. I also added washi down the side there, match that paper, stripy paper. And that story was about all the movies I watched. So I put those in there. I use my Project Life app for that. And if you do want an explanation of how I did this, because it was a little bit complicated, just ask and I'll explain it further in a comment down below. Invitation. So we got invited to a first birthday party and a name day, which were both on the same day for Declan, who is my friend. I went to primary school with her. So we've known each other for like 15 years or something silly. So we obviously were invited, and there's the invite with all the details, so I don't have to write all that. That's Declan's cake, which Beck made. She makes beautiful cakes. Me, so I was trying to take a few selfies. By this stage I was remembering I hadn't done it. The name day part just before we went to the pool, so we did that first, but I ended up thinking of it second, so I put it behind in the photo there. I also put Declan's full name because that's his naming day ceremony. This is where I've added the sleeve with the pocket. I've put conversation in the Avery Index tab, and I've got 17 in the heart there. With these though, I thought this was a good idea. I added a white sticker with the letter from our names, and then stapled the actual diamond there. So my husband's Stuart, I'm Katrina, and then the boys are also on theirs. I won't pull them all out. I just love the way they look when they're sitting in the pocket. This was something I coloured in. I printed it from my home printer on Pinterest, off Pinterest. And I used my alcohol markers, and I actually wanted one for my traveller's notebook, which you'll see as well when I do a flip through. But I want to really add it in here as well, because I'm quite crafty and I do a lot of Christmas crafts during the December months, but sometimes it's not reflected in my December daily. We went to see other people's Christmas lights. We drove 20 minutes into town to go see it, and the boys are little, so when we went it was sunlight. And because it's summer here too, the sun doesn't set until 9 o'clock at night at the minute, so it's a bit hard. Stu comes home, he usually gets changed, and then we head out. And so we do dinner. As a nice treat, we do something sneaky and naughty. So it's usually like pizza or McDonald's or something like that. And the boys wanted nuggets. We asked them. So we went to McDonald's, and the street decorated with some tinsel. This is a house that I got a photo of, and them eating their nuggets. I really loved this card and I really wanted to add it, so I've got it in here. It says Meowie Christmas. A day where I did nothing. Day 19. I have all the chores I did that day, which I think is another really good idea for if you don't have children or you're just looking for extra stories. Also, books. I've put the 2 books that arrived, I ordered, and they came, and I've completely read one at this stage by the 20th, and I was half into Silence Fallen. I love this author, and so I put loving, and I made a story about the books. You don't have to have kids, you don't have to have animals, you can be single, you can be with a partner, you can have lots of animals, lots of kids, and you can still get stories through December Daily. They don't have to be positive, all of them. I think you should be realistic. December is a month just like any other, but we have celebrations in it. So some are going to be great and some aren't. So I think it all just depends how you want to portray it in your, obviously, album itself. But I think you should really be realistic with it as well. 21, I was kind of a bit over it at this stage. So I just put a photo of us in our silly hats that we were taking selfies of when Stu got home from work that day. On the back of it, Nanny came over and just hung out with us. It was a hot day. We went to the park in the afternoon. And then I also saw a lady take a photo of the 21st of the 12th. And so I took it on the following day, the December, because I just love that idea. And that was my page, my screenshot lock screen on my phone at the minute. We just went to a wedding in November, and so we've got a beautiful photo there. Had to add it. This is where my Christmas celebrations with the family started, the 23rd. So I saw my uncle and his two girls, his partner Mark, and then Mark's mum and dad came over. I created a flip up pocket here because I didn't want it to be too photo heavy. I also purposefully made this a small one rather than a bigger photo in there. I wanted to add pieces like this one where it says wish, 'tis the season, photos of December, life, stories to remember. And then in the acetate I've got deck the halls with boughs of holly. Another thing, I just had so many photos I wanted to add. I wasn't not going to add them. I just wanted to be creative with the way I did it. On the 24th, it was a really impromptu busy day. We didn't plan it to be, but it was. So I put this morning, afternoon, evening card. I went to work because I got called in last minute. They decided they were doing a big promo and it was going to be super busy. So I worked 4 hours in the morning. When I finished, just so happened that Star Wars was playing, and because we've been super busy, hubby and I said we're going to set some time aside for us. And I know movie tickets fade, don't stress. I actually took a photo in the cinema of me holding the tickets with all the details, which I thought was awesome. But for now, I'm going to have the stubs in here, sitting like that, and then when they fade and you can't see, I'll pull them out and the photo will be there. Then after the movie, we went back, picked up the kids. They were at my mum's house. We come home, so me taking a selfie at the front. I really like this photo for some reason. I don't know what it is. Maybe because the wreath's in the background. And I was happy. And I had my hair straightened. I normally wear my hair in a bun, so it's usually up. Funny photo of my husband pretending to be a firefighter with his hose, just garden hose. But he is actually a firefighter. So that's why it's funny, because he's used to using those big 65mm hose that they do use. So we did that. We were in the garden whilst we were waiting for Santa to arrive. And then when Santa arrived, the boys were crazy. They loved it. So we did a scrapbook layout there for that one, which I love, 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 love. I actually recycled on this one and used a glassine bag from the kit that something came in. And I also used some packaging from some gold bows that I had in my stash. I used also a 6x8 photo on the back of the boys with Santa and the fire truck, which I just love that photo as well. They're all smiling and happy. I use washi tape where the rings are in there as well, something different. I had this 6x4 card that says 'twas the night before Christmas, so we did a little mini photo. We put out our Christmas presents and we filled the stockings for the boys, but I got hubby's fire boots and put talcum powder around the boots so that we could have Santa's feet there. We also put out reindeer food, which Flynn made at preschool. Then North Pole and the plane tracker, which we normally look up as well. So when the boys are bigger, they'll understand more. Boys opening presents, so big photos. This was a lovely watercolour wreath in an advertisement for a community event. So I chopped it up and created my own little page there for the 25th. Opening presents as a family. That's where I've used this page. Joy Holly Gather. 3 more photos there with the 25. Can't not tell it's Christmas Day. We had Christmas lunch at our house this year, which was great. So the food prep in the morning, just making sure everything that I had made or had to make on that morning was set. Everyone at the table. I did not take many photos. They were the only ones in the lead up to, and then when the family were here, we remembered to get one of Stu's family all together. My mum, dad and brother came, but I forgot to get a photo with them, but that was okay. This is empty. I'm going to put cardstock in there. I didn't want to fill it with photos. The next day was at my mum's, dad's and brother's, and I've put wonderful here. Lovely selfie of my husband there. Then one with my little man Reed. They were the only 2 photos we took on this day. We just forgot. So simple embellishments because it's all about their beautiful faces. 27 is the recovery day. We had to get groceries, just normal groceries. And I made a quiche cross frittata for dinner with the leftover ham that we had. So my quintata, basic journaling. Another rest day. This was a mask that I got as a present, and it was quite warm, so I thought weather would be a good one to add in. Then to sort of summarise the Christmas season, our advent calendars, which were finished, I've added in for the boys. It's the story of it with the card, sort of explaining why it was a bit meh. And then for the 30th and 31st, 10 December loves, summing it all up, and Happy New Year. So I tried to keep it sweet and simple, but also a little bit me with some extra embellishments here and there. But I really hope you enjoyed this flip through. I hope it wasn't too long for you. I have done this 2 or 3 times now, and this is sort of the best I'm going to get. So please give it a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. I will keep making these flip through videos and process videos of December Daily as the years go by. But thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Bye.